All right, good morning. We are starting the Manistee River Loop, which has been on my bucket list for a bit. I was going to do it in May of this year when I was up here on a camping trip with some of the guys, but trip got cut a little short, so I didn't get to do this hike. So took a day off work to come up here and get this in. It's depending on where you look, it's anywhere between 19, a little over 19, a little over 22 miles up the shore of the Manistee River in the National Forest up here, and then at the northernmost point we cross a little suspension footbridge, and then it's the trip back to the trailhead. I parked in a trailhead that pops the trail tomorrow will pop right out where the truck is, so it should be a much easier day tomorrow. We're doing the northern route on the west side of the river today. From my perspective, that's the hardest. It's got the most elevation, and there's no water until Ellington Creek, which is 7 or 8 miles into it. So I've got about 2.5 liters of water on me. I should be fine. I'm already seeing the very familiar white blazes of the North Country Trail, my old friend. It's one of my favorite trails. Whenever I get an opportunity to do a little NCT time, I'm going to. I love this trail system. So got this higher elevation, up higher off the bank, and then when we get to Ellington Creek, we'll fill up water, we'll filter some water, and then that's just a real quick jog up to that footbridge we talked about. The idea is get across that footbridge, head south about a mile or so, and there are already established camping sites. So find myself a nice camping site with a nice view, set up the tent, get some sleep. I think I missed a spot on my arm with bug spray, so we are going to have to stop and refresh that. So going to camp tonight at one of those first campsites. Get up in the morning, have breakfast, pack up everything. Should be back to the truck by around noon tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the day with all the scenery, all the views down by the river. Up here, you're pretty much walking through this all these woods, which is gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it's always nice when there's something to see. So we'll see how that goes. When we hit some scenic points, I'll pull out the camera, we'll get a little bit of video and photographic evidence that we were here, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so doing the NCT northbound section to start so far has been a very good decision. There is some serious elevation here, like, you know, foothills of Appalachia kind of elevation. So it's really good to get that out of the way first, so that way kind of evens out further in the day, and then tomorrow's going to be, for the most part, pretty flat. So I always like to do the hard stuff first, and there were some hills back there that were pretty brutal, so be prepared for those. But so far the woods are beautiful, nice and cool. I've already run into several other hiking teams enjoying the loop for the weekend. So let's see what we can find. All right, this is a first. I'm in, Manistee National Forest, for those of you who may not know, is on between north of Grand Rapids, kind of in between Grand Rapids and Traverse City. So we're kind of northern Lower Peninsula, Michigan. Technically, this is black bear country, although I've never met anybody who has seen a black bear around here, but this is their territory and they are around. Just had a guy yell from the road, because part of this path gets kind of close to some of the National Forestry Service roads. He's like, hey, if you see some dogs running around, just let them be, they're mine. We're tracking a bear. I'm like, I'm sorry, a bear? He's like, yeah, we got a bear running around in here. So the dogs are tracking them. So just kind of keep your eyes out, and if you see them, you know, pay them no mind. So I'm not really worried about the dogs. I'm more worried about a scared bear being chased by a bunch of hounds. So just because we're not in Maine or, Shenandoah National Park doesn't mean we don't have to worry about wildlife. So hopefully I see one. That would be cool if, as long as we both keep our distance and respect each other. It would be kind of cool to see a black bear up here, so my head's going to be on a pivot for a while. All right, that is one highly motivated woodpecker. He's done eating that thing down to the core. Oh, here's another one. All right, we're about 7 miles in, right around there. So we're almost to Eddington Creek. We probably have about a mile to Eddington Creek, where I may top off with water. I'm actually doing really well on my water consumption, so I may not need to. I still have about 1.5 liters, maybe a little more. So that should be enough actually to get me to my campsite, which is right on the river, so I have plenty of water at that point. So I'll make that decision when I get there. So the first 6 miles, so if you start at the Red Bridge River access, which is where I parked on the southern point of the loop, about the first 6 miles are the tough part. That's where all the elevation is. Now that I'm past that, it's pretty flat. I have some descent coming up when I get up closer to the creek, and then once I cross the river, it's all pretty good and low-lying areas. So that first 6 miles will take a little bit of gas out of your tank, which is why I wanted to do it first. And then also because you're not going to hit any water till mile 8, you need to make sure that you pack plenty of water. I'm sitting there thinking I probably could have made it to Eddington Creek on 1 liter. It would not have been comfortable, would not have been safe. I'd have been rationing it, which I don't like to do, but you could do it. Probably not a big deal, especially because it's so beautiful out here. Like I said, it's in the low 70s. There's a nice breeze. A lot of hikers out today. I've seen multitude of hiking groups going in both directions. And everybody has a big smile on their face because it's such a beautiful day. And I have yet to see our friend the black bear. There's a big deer running by. That's a big old deer. But I have not seen any black bears. So we'll hopefully I'll stay that way. Hopefully I don't have any scratching on my tent tonight looking for yum-yums. All right, so we'll pop the camera back on when we get to Eddington Creek. We'll see that. And then after that, it's maybe a mile, 2 at the most, I think, to the suspension bridge. And that, my friends, is the official halfway point. All right, so I'm here at Eddington Creek. I've got myself some fresh filtered water, and it is nice and cool. It's not much worse than just drinking, you know, ambient temperature water. So you get a nice little creek like this, and it's the water's, you know, 50 degrees. It's so refreshing. So taking a quick break, got my water filled up. I probably didn't need to. I could have filled up at the camp, but I don't know what the campsites are going to look like at this point. There are so many hikers around here. I can't be so confident that I'm going to get the pick of the campsites. So I've got probably another 2 miles or so till I get to the other side of the river and start down the Manistee River Trail, which is the second part. This is the North Country Trail part. Once again, seeing a lot of hikers, a lot of backpackers out here. It's great to see so many people out and enjoying the trail. But it's, you know, the weather's perfect. The bugs are not too bad at all. This was my big milestone, is getting to this creek, because then I knew I could get fresh water and take a break for a bit. So I'm about to get up and get moving in a few minutes. Yeah, for me, I don't know about all of you, but towards the end of the day of a hike, every time you sit down and you take the pack off, it becomes a little bit harder each time to put it back on. So we'll get back on the trail and get across the river and find ourselves a campsite and start getting camp up, because I'd like to have just a little fire, help keep the bugs away, and hopefully have a nice view of the river, and, you know, probably put me at camp by about 5 o'clock local time. Gives me a few hours of just kind of relaxing. And then hiker midnight will probably hit right about 8 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock. I'll be sawing logs. There is a slight chance tomorrow morning for some rain. We're hoping it passes over me, but if so, we'll deal with it. It's only supposed to last a short time, so if first thing in the morning, if it's drizzling a bit, I may just stay in my tent and sleep in a little bit, because tomorrow's going to be a much easier day. My pace is going to be a lot quicker. I'm averaging right at about 2.6 mile an hour for this terrain. I'll probably be closer to 3.1, 3.2 on the other side of the river when it's nice and flat. So, you know, I'm doing a little more distance today, doing the harder terrain today. So tomorrow should be pretty easy. So if I lounge around in my hooch for an extra hour or so in the morning, it's not going to hurt anything. I'll be able to make my biscuits and gravy, and you know, get some Peak Refuel biscuits and gravy for breakfast. Get some coffee, and then you know, depending on if there is that touch of rain, we'll have to make a judgment call at that point on when to pack up and get out of Dodge. But so far it's been a great little trip. I am officially off the North Country Trail. Jogger right, I actually walked past. I had to backtrack a bit, in full transparency. But now I am part of the Manistee River Trail. So this goes through these woods here a bit, and then that's where we hit the suspension bridge, the small suspension bridge. So by NCT, see you next time. Once again, that is one of my favorite trails. It just you can go all over the place. You can hike that all the way from Vermont to North Dakota, and you just see so much of the northern United States on the NCT. I really want to get out to the Allegheny National Forest in northern Pennsylvania. I've seen some YouTube videos and some photos and some trail comments about some of the sections of the NCT in that national forest, and it just looks beautiful. Looks rough. I don't think there's a single flat spot within the state of Pennsylvania. So one of these days we'll have to get out there. One of these days when the missus and I are visiting our daughter in Pittsburgh, take a day up there and spend it in Allegheny. So we're gonna just keep dredging through the woods here and get to the river, and then head a little bit south, and then we are on the home stretch. And here's the Manistee River. So the last time we saw this was down by the trailhead where we parked the truck. So now we just got to get to the other side. Beautiful little river. I hear there's pretty good trout, although when I was here in May with the crew, I think Danny caught one. They weren't really biting. I think water may have been too cold, but supposed to be, from what I understand, some pretty good trout fishing up here. All right, so here we are at the suspension bridge. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you hiking the whole trail?
The whole trail.
Where does it start?
I started, people just asking about the trail. Are you hiking the whole trail? Like, I am. So we're now on the east bank of the river. So now, find a camping site because my butt is whooped. All right, so camp is for the most part set up. I still have to put all my stuff inside. This is the beautiful thing about dispersed camping in a national forest. When you go to a state park or a national park, there's so many rules on where you can camp and how many people can be there. And you know, you got to make reservations, and you know, every once in a while you'll show up to your campsite and there's already somebody there. They're squatting in your site. Most of the national forests that I'm familiar with have what they just call dispersed camping. You pretty much camp wherever you want. There's no fee. It's first come, first serve. They have some nicely developed campsites with big fire rings. This one here, some idiot just started a fire amongst all the pine needles. So we will not be having a fire tonight because I'm really not in the mood to light the forest on fire. But I am gonna have some dinner, and I'm gonna just relax and unwind, let my legs relax. I'll change into some more comfortable clothes, and then just really enjoy this scenery. You gotta see the view that I have. You know, there's a little bit of brush here, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I can set up my camping chair right here. It's really really quite a beautiful place. So let me finish getting up my gear and then I'm gonna make dinner. All right, so got camp all set up. I almost fell asleep just laying in there. It's amazing once you do 10, 12, 15 miles, how comfortable a little inflatable pad that thick will be. I could have fell asleep right there. So today, now I'm gonna make some dinner because I have not eaten since breakfast. I didn't even have any trail snacks, which is unusual, but I was just had my head down and was grooving along. So got the fire maple cook pot. I've got the little pocket rocket with the Tokes little baby stove. I also have a jet boil, which I love the jet boil. The jet boil is obviously the biggest and heaviest of the three. The pocket rocket and the Tokes is the lightest, but I also like having these the stove where it snaps down in. You don't. It's a lot less likely to accidentally spill boiling hot water all over yourself. So I like how with the jet boil it actually snaps in. It's probably my favorite, but it's just so heavy. The fire maple sits in three little slots. The little prongs on the stove sits in three little slots, and I genuinely like that better. The Tokes and the pocket rocket are great. They're lightweight. I know all the ultralighters out there are always singing praises about it, but me, I'm not. I'd rather sacrifice just a couple of ounces, and I've weighed them. The difference, the weight difference between the fire maple and the jet boil and just the pocket rocket is not that much. It's a few ounces. And just like my handy dandy little camping chair I'm sitting on now, sometimes having that little bit of luxury, that little bit of for a little bit of weight. Anybody who's gone hiking with me, anybody who knows me, they've heard me say time and time again, I am not an ultralight hiker. Although I have to be honest, I'm enjoying more ultralight gear, not because I'm chasing this sub 10-pound base weight. That's never going to happen. But for me, if I can save a couple ounces here and there, that means I get to carry more stuff. So that's kind of the thought process behind it. For dinner tonight, so I like these smell-proof bags. I have a bear bag. To be honest, I don't always bring it. It's kind of a pain. I also have a bear vault for those times that I'm in some place that requires it, but those things are massive and heavy and huge, and they take up half the pack. So I found that with these smell-proof bags, I can zip that thing up. I'll put it like under my pillow or something like that. I'm sure we'll have people say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." Okay, you do you. If I was someplace where there were a lot of bear or a lot of aggressive animals, I would be doing it differently. But while technically, like we discussed earlier, this is black bear country, the odds of seeing one are relatively low. So I'm not really that concerned about it. But I also I like Mountain House. I know a lot of people out there say, Mountain House is crap. It's not. I mean, I have peak fuel, biscuits and gravy for the morning. So, but I love their chili mac with beef. So I'll take this and I'll add a little bit of Chicken Creations Original Barbecue, meat it up a little bit, and it's an absolute delicious dinner. So that's what I'm going to make here. I'm going to eat. I'm I'm gonna sit here for a bit and enjoy the scenery of the river, probably until the mosquitoes come out and start chewing through my bug spray. And then probably got an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before sunset. There's a very good chance I'll be asleep before that. I woke up at 4 this morning because I wanted to be out of the house by 5. So I was up at 4, out the door. I was not going to leave that early, so I just kind of laid there, ended up dozing off, and then waking up at 6. So I got here a little later than I thought, but I didn't get a full night's sleep. So put that on a almost 12-mile hike through some pretty good terrain. It was a lot of fun. But now it's time to eat, and then start planning for bed, and then we'll decide what time we get up and at 'em tomorrow, really depending on if we get any of that touch of rain that they're talking about. The kayakers and canoers are all coming down the river. This would definitely be a great river to bring the boats out and paddle. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's nice and calm, but still steady. Really should plan a kayaking camping trip. There's some spots when you looking down, there's little campsites that you can see that people have made right along the shore, where it's probably somebody canoe camping or kayak camping. All right, so I'll see you after I eat, and probably before you head to bed. All right, so dinner's all done. I do have one question for specifically all you ultralight backpackers out there. If my flask is made of titanium, am I still ultralight? Oh. So I think I'm gonna go lay down, unwind, maybe watch a YouTube video or two, because I have just a little bit of cell signal here, and we'll see you in the morning. Good morning, campers. That was a great night's sleep. I woke up a couple of times just because my bones are old, and laying on a 24-inch pad in a tent is restrictive by nature. Big guy, but great night. The sky's definitely got an overcast today. I checked the weather this morning, and it is definitely looking like the chances of rain have gotten significantly higher, but it's later on in the day. It looks like the rain won't hit till around noon. I can make it to the truck by then, because I did a couple of extra miles yesterday and I came a little bit further down the river. If I hustle, I should be able to make it to the truck by the time the rain really starts. And I might catch a bit, but hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. So making up some Peak Refuel biscuits and gravy. It's the breakfast of champions, and making some coffee. So I figure I'd get me about half an hour to eat and kind of get myself oriented. And then I got to see how quick I can pack up camp and get back out on the trail. So when we get back out there, I'll pop on the camera and see what we can find. Morning. Alright, we're just about 15 miles. So we're 3/4 of the way through the whole loop. Probably have somewhere between 4 and 5 miles left. The source of how long this loop is varies. But most places like Onyx says I think it's like 19.2 miles. So we're somewhere between 4 and 5 miles. I've got a little bit of extra mileage on the Garmin because twice I passed a poorly marked intersection and went a little bit out of my way. Not much, I mean, 1/10 of a mile here, 1/10 of a mile there. But you know, like most parts of the North Country Trail, it's very well marked. There's blazes consistently. Once you get on this side of the river, you've got these little blue diamonds nailed to the trees, and sometimes they can be few and far between. So definitely have to pay attention. Use your GPS app because there's a lot of intersecting other little trails, and you'll need to make a right and you won't notice it and you'll just keep on going straight. So having that GPS app really helps keep you from doing extra miles. But once again, lots of people on this trail. Many of the campsites are occupied. People are getting up and at them. So it's it looks like I wasn't the only one that thought this would be a great weekend to get out and do this trail. So we're just gonna keep on moseying on along. I'm a little inland now, so the river is on the other side of a bank of trees, so I can't see it, but so far the majority of this trail has been right along the river with some beautiful views. You saw some of the waterfalls. You know, they're little waterfalls, but they're kind of cute. And you know, plenty of water. I mean, it's every mile or so you come across a little spring-fed creek that you can filter water out of. So it's completely different than the NCT side, where we had to do 8 miles before we got to Eddington Creek. And here, I didn't even really bother to fill everything up. I filtered out about a little over a liter. So that's a figure that might be enough to get me to the truck. If not, I'll stop and get more. There's just so much water on this side. So we're gonna just keep on hiking along. All right, funny story. I love funny stories on hikes. I'm walking along the river, one of the actually tributary streams, and I come across a guy taking a leak. Now, we all have to pee in the woods, not a big deal, but he was taking his pee 10-12 feet from the side of the creek where everybody gets their drinking water out of. Well, I catch him by surprise. He sees me out of the corner of his eye. He jumps, tries to scurry to the other side of the tree, and in the process pisses all over himself. All over his hands. The pee hit the tree and splashed back all over him. And I don't feel bad at all. Why? Because I shouldn't have to say this, but don't piss where you get your drinking water. I know it's a crazy concept, but I would think that 10,000 years of human civilization would have taught people not to piss where you get your drinking water. So he got to spend he's gonna get to spend the rest of the day covered in his own urine because he's an idiot. So don't be that guy. When you have to relieve yourself, step inland and pee. And if you have to poop, go inland, dig your cat hole, poop, bury said poop, and then go about your day. I don't know why you gotta say stuff like this. Crying out loud. All right, down to 1 mile. Just gotta come around this little crust, and then a short little stretch, and we are back at the trailhead. So far, I definitely have enjoyed this loop. My legs have about had it. I just stopped at Aquila Creek, got a little bit of freshed up water, took my shoes and socks off and soaked my feet in the creek for a couple of minutes. It was kind of nice. So plug on for this last mile and we're done. All right, back at the truck, peeled off my shoes, gonna put on my flip-flops and head on home. It was a really great trail. The trail conditions were good. I mean, there was some obstructions, but you know, what do you expect for a trail this size with this this amount of foliage? Definitely the first half, the NCT size, a lot more elevation and a lot more continuous elevation. The Manistee River Trail side, there was still a lot of elevation, but it was a lot of up and overs, up and overs, up and overs. So you do get a lot of elevation change, especially when your legs are all tore out from under you from the day before it. Those last couple miles are like, man, why they got to put this hill right here? But all in all, I would definitely say the Manistee River Trail was far more enjoyable. I would definitely say if somebody wanted to come out here just for an overnight and you didn't want to do the whole loop, if there wasn't some sort of reasoning behind that, as much as I hate out and backs, this probably wouldn't be one that would be too bad. You could stay here at the trailhead by Red Bridge Access. You could go up 3, 4, 5, 6 miles if you wanted, grab one of those campsites, stay the night, and then hike back. You know, the creeks and the little waterfalls and the scenery is definitely worth it. As for an out and back overnight trip, this definitely is on my possibility list. But it's been great having you with me. Thank you very much, and see you next time on the trail.